station. This is ESA PAO in Rome. How do you hear me?
And Jules, I have you loud and clear. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Samantha. We are with a lot of kids here, and I leave the floor to Roberto Battiston, Presidente dell'ASI.
Samantha, it's a great pleasure to see you today in this great room full of young kids. We are here with representatives of ESA, Mrs. Grifoni, and the representative of the Air Force, and Minister Giannini, who is our person for this day today.
Grazie, mi hanno anche corretto. Oppure parlerai, per farla più semplice. I saluti, diciamo,
and greetings.
Praticamente te li passo uno dopo l'altro.
I'm going to send you greetings so that I don't interrupt the dialogue. So I remind the kids that Samantha has a little bit of a delay of a few seconds. So that we don't lose time, we're going to say hello all together, and then we are going to move forward. Good day, Samantha. This is Elena. Great greeting. And most of all, hello from the General Director, Thomas Reiter. I just wanted to wish you congratulations for the work that awaits you in the next few weeks, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye. Good day, Samantha. I'm not General Magro, I'm Commander Ferro, but on whose behalf I bring you his greetings, and I bring you greetings of the entire Air Force, and we are waiting for you at your return. Good day, Samantha. I am Stefania Giannini, the Minister of Education for University and Research. I'm so happy to be here today with a great representation of the Italian schools. We are waiting for you, and I will let you know why. Oh, and we're starting with a question, so it's my turn. I have the privilege. I'm a little starstruck, so hopefully I think I represent everybody's emotions here, but they'll have the opportunity to ask you something. But the first question is, when you started to feel that beyond being an engineer, you maybe felt like doing something special, something more. Was it at the beginning of your studies, or is it something that came to you during your path, during your journey? But first of all, good day to everyone, to Mrs. Minister Giannini, President Battiston, Colonel Serra, Dr. Grifoni Winters, and a warm hello to all the boys and girls that are there today, and to all, welcome to space on board of the International Space Station. To answer your question, Minister, in truth, I've always dreamt since I was a little girl to travel in space as an astronaut. Perhaps I didn't even know what an astronaut was, but I wanted to go into space. Often I say that I didn't choose space as a career, but space chose me, because it happened before I really could make a conscious choice. But naturally, growing up and as a person develops interests, more concrete passions. So things that I developed for science, flight, technology, they put me on the right path to be able to realize this dream of being able to travel to space. So my fantasies as a child converged into my interests and my passions of a young woman and then an adult woman. And the choice, of course, was wonderful for me, because I am so satisfied, content, and happy to be in this environment and to do this work. Thank you. I think it's an answer. Okay, can I continue? Okay. The second question that I had is relative to the experience that you're having in this long mission. How do you feel after, well, let's say we were here for the launch. That was how long? So it's been about 5 months. So after 5 months of being away from all those things that even though you're prepared for this experience, they represent your everyday life of astronauts. So do you miss Earth, in other words? Minister, I have to say, in general, as a person, I'm not very nostalgic. I'm very used, ever since I was little, to change environments, to move. So I think my experiences of life taught me to adapt and then to accept what the environment is around me as a new normal, as a new home. So I have to say, after the great joy and euphoria, the initial period of adaptation, because at first I just felt like a child. You have to learn everything again here. But here, after 5 months in space, I really feel like I'm perfectly adapted. I feel at home. Of course, some things I miss, the presence of loved ones, simple things like being able to take a shower. But let's say, as a character, I tend to not focus on missing things, but I enjoy the present. Then I'm sure when I'll be back on Earth, I'll have to adapt to being a terrestrial human being instead of a space human being. A very last question. How does a minister help all of these kids that are here and all their schoolmates that are in Italian schools today, if they want and if they have the same talents and determination to follow an extraordinary dream like that of becoming an astronaut or being a great scientist or a researcher? I'm putting in all my efforts, but perhaps seeing the world from above, you have some suggestions, even something important. I would be grateful if you could give me some. Minister, thank you for the question, and I will answer, but by saying that first, I don't feel competent to give suggestions about policy, but with humility, I would like to say that perhaps we need to increase attention in Italian schools for scientific topics like mathematics and technology, to increase or allow or increase effectiveness of learning English and let students move more in terms of international exchanges so that they can make experiences of study and life experiences abroad. Then I'm on the right path. So it's a long journey, but I'm on the right path. Thank you so much, Samantha. Let's thank the minister for now. Let's go to the students now, and then I see a little doll, a stuffed doll there on your right. What is it? So Paxi has been here in many events with the Earth. She's the ESA mascot. She helps us talk to the kids in Europe, but I still don't understand if it's a boy or a girl. Everyone can decide for themselves, but I keep her here in Columbus, and she helps me with the experiments. Hello, Samantha. This is Marco Gitto from Istituto Tecnologico of Milazzo. This is my question. Among your experiments on microgravity, the research can be an input to understand the self-sufficient experiments in the future? That's a very interesting question. So yes, the answer is absolutely yes. Many of the experiments that we conduct on board have effects in two different fields. So they allow us to understand biological mechanisms, like you're saying, of the vegetable world but also at the animal world and us human beings. So from one side, that will allow us to understand how to adapt to live in space for long missions. So again, if we want to continue to explore the solar system beyond low Earth orbit, we need to be able to stay in space much longer than we do now for 6 months. Even if I see here, you can't see him here, but my colleague who arrived here a couple of weeks ago, but he's going to be here for a year. But again, and then of course there are these things that we learn allow us to increase our insight of the biological processes that help Earth research, for example, to understand how you develop some pathologies and how you can act on them, for example, with new medicines and to counteract the development of an illness. So again, what we do here is both for exploration and for Earth science in the fields of health and medicine. Hello, Samantha. I'm Saverio, and I go to Liceo Classico in Anzio. Here's my question. Do you believe that our generation of youth will have the opportunity to see developments like creation of colonies of humans on the moon or Mars, or the possible economical utilization of these worlds?
Ciao, Saverio.
Hi, Saverio. I am optimist. I think so. I think that we will be, I think your generation will see men and women on outside our low Earth orbit, so possibly on the moon, or we're talking about exploring asteroids and of course Mars. I don't know if we're going to be talking about colonies. So if we're saying colonies, we mean people who immigrate, that move on these celestial bodies and go live there. This I don't know, but I have absolute faith that your generation will see an exploration, even a massive, by men and women beyond low Earth orbit. Good day, Captain Cristoforetti. This is Daniele Bruno of the military school. The photo that you send us from space are beautiful. On one hand, it shows us how small we are, but on the other hand, they give us great energy to understand how important it is to preserve this marvelous planet that is Earth. Being young, we have a long road in front of us, but I think your example and your experience are a great stimulus to face our activities, our challenges with great energy. Because if you said that if we have to choose between two roads, it's best to take the one uphill because it brings more success. So my question is, Captain, what is the right ingredient to arrive up there where you are?
Grazie, Allievo Bruna.
Thank you, Allievo Bruna. This is a very interesting question. The key, you already mentioned. We are talking about making choices while we grow up that challenge us, that test our limits, because in this way you get stronger, you understand how strong you are, because in the end your strength and your grit are like muscles in our body. Either you use them or they deteriorate. So you have to continue to challenge yourself, stimulate yourself, create difficulties for yourself so that you can train these muscles like determination, motivation, and grit. So I believe truly that, of course, studying is very important, and that's a fact. But there are many people who are great in school and in college and in studies, but then what differentiates from really being able to achieve things, that's characters and grit and the ability every day to just grit your teeth and give everything you can. So when in doubt, without even thinking about it, pick the harder road. First of all, good day, good evening, Samantha. I'm Ginevra, I'm the fourth year of Liceo Scientifico in Volterra, and I would like to be a theoretical physicist. My question is, what are the emergency plans for launch and the return trip?
Vera, ti devo chiedere di ripetere la domanda.
Vera, I have to ask you to repeat the question. Do you mean the launch and return of a space vehicle? Do I understand that correctly?
Sì.
Yes.
Okay,
perfect.
Allora,
So first, I think you.
il noccio.
So I wanted to know what the emergency plans are.
Okay.
So they confirmed that that was a question. So I think that you definitely caught the fact that launch and return in a space mission are two critical moments, fundamentally because there are great energies at play. You know, during launch, you can see it visibly. There's a great energy that's released. We have to release a space vehicle at 400 kilometers per hour. So you're sending this space vehicle at a great speed at 28,000 kilometers per minute. So when you re-enter, you have to dissipate this energy so that you can impact the ground with an acceptable speed. So during launch, the bad things that can happen are malfunctions in the rocket. So there are emergency evacuation systems, especially when you're still on the launch pad. So for example, if a fire should develop or in the first phases of flight, there is an evacuation system that basically separates the vehicle from the rocket and pushes it away with a great acceleration. So let's say not very comfortable. Probably the astronauts would be hurt, but they would survive this emergency. And then throughout all the other phases until the orbital injection, depending on what phase you're in, and so at what altitude and speed you are, there are different procedures for emergencies to be able to come back to Earth safely. So in our case, we launched from Kazakhstan. So all the path throughout Asia was full of vehicles that were ready to help us rescue us in case we were not able to get to orbit and needed to re-enter the Earth before arriving in space. For re-entry, fundamentally, the emergencies that are predicted, or better, the contingencies that we have, go from an automatic re-entry from different kinds of manual re-entry. So from an automatic one to one completely manual, to even arrive to a ballistic re-entry, to where essentially you're re-entering like a rock. The Soyuz is able to survive, as the astronauts are. Even then, not very comfortable because it has some G's, some accelerations that are very elevated.
And that's it from Rome. Grazie.
And that's it from Rome. Thank you, Samantha. An applause for Samantha. Thank you. I thank you all. This was a great pleasure for me speaking with you. I know there are hundreds of young men and women in the room, so I truly hope that this can be a reason of inspiration for coming to space today, and I hope that you continue well in your studies, so continue to challenge yourselves so that you can grow as people, both prepared and faithful in your own abilities, so that you're going to be able to realize your dreams and aspirations. Good luck to all, and break a leg.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you, European Space Agency, Italian Education Minister Stefania Giannini and guests. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.